Thank you so much. I'm going to get right into it because I know our time's limited, but can each of you give an introduction about yourself? And then right after that, I'll ask you guys about the project. So
Great.
Let's start off with Anna.
Great. Hi, I'm Anna Tuazon Parsons. I am a Filipino-American comic, writer, stand-up performer, all of the multi-hyphenate things. And I am one of the producers and writers of this project.
Wonderful. And Aiden?
Hi, I am Aiden Park, and I'm a comedian, and I'm a writer for this, and I'm very excited to be here. Woohoo!
Great. And Nikki?
Hi, my name is Nikki Endress, pronouns they and she. I am an adopted Asian American, non-binary, trans feminine, queer, actor, comic, voice artist, and audiobook narrator, and I also am very pleased to be here.
Wonderful. And I'm very excited to hear about this project, which obviously includes a lot of diverse talent here. Maybe each one of you, can you mention your perspective of this project and what you hope to accomplish for your audiences?
Wait, sorry, what? Say it again.
Can you tell us about this project, the Asian American Eyz'd, and tell us what you hope audiences will take out of that? Let's start with Anna.
Okay, all three of us. Okay. So this show is about 3 Asian American immigrants. We were all brought here from, Korea and from the Philippines. And it's a heartfelt stand-up comedy special. We call it our Baby Cobra, Ali Wong's Baby Cobra meets Nanette, where it's our Asian American stories, along with a lot of heartfelt, storylines and the things we've been through to survive as immigrants in Hollywood and just in the US. And I think the thing I hope the most out of this project is that, well, one, obviously visibility for the Asian American community and for our stories, and that, stand-up comedy isn't just a bunch of white guys, doing stand-up, that will gain some visibility for us. And that just will be seen. I think that a lot of people will watch this and feel like they're seen and they can relate to our stories.
Great. Aiden?
Okay, so the question was, what's this? Ask one more time here. Sorry, the clock started ringing. I was like, what?
No, what drew you to this project? What is this project about? I know it has a component of talking about the Asian immigrant experience, but what is your perspective and your contribution to it? And what do you hope audiences will get out of it?
Okay. Well, I honestly, I got involved because Anna and Nikki were my friends, and it sounded fun to do. so in the beginning, I was like, all right, well, it's a stand-up comedy project. I want to do it with my friends at Yahoo. Here we are. And as we started creating, we were like, oh man, like we have our immigration story in common, and it's so we don't really think about it, but that kind of experience really is vastly different than being born here. It really is a very different experience that we don't get to hear about very often. And so as we started writing our stories, we leaned into what we felt moved by and what we felt compelled by and what we found funny also among us as well. And we discovered this, created this amazing thing. And I hope that people, it's not a perspective that people generally get an insight into or think about very often. Most media is presented from the perspective of people, who don't have our experience. So maybe this will be an interesting insight for people.
Wonderfully said. Nikki, your thoughts?
Yeah, just yes and to what Anna and Aiden have already spoken to. For me, getting involved in the project it started, from my perspective, from a very just sort of a intimate artistic place where I was feeling frustrated in the lack of representation and what little representation there was, it being thin, two-dimensional, stereotypical, or tokenizing. And just as an artist who's auditioning all the time, it's it just got frustrating. So if part of it for me, it was sort of like, F it, let's do our own thing. So when Anna pitched it, I'm just like, yeah, girl, we'll make it up as we go along. We'll lead with our hearts, and just define our own artistic voices through a project that's 100% our own. And what I hope people get out of it is just that authenticity and kind of purity of artistic expression, that it resonates with people on an emotional level.
I love it. And Nikki, let's stick with you for the next question. I think when you talk about those misconceptions or the one-sided portrayals of a lot of Asian Americans, can you kind of go in depth on that, and then we'll go back to Eyz'd and Anna on that same question?
Yeah, I think, and what's really interesting in our special is that we have a lot of overlapping intersectional identity and representation. So just based on the race and ethnicity portion, I think in Western media and in American media, too often we see Asian people as just doctors and lawyers, which, again, it's that model minority negative stereotype where we might be in elevated educated positions, but it's still functional to a story. It's, it doesn't explore our lived experiences, or we're a monolith. So if you're Indian or Singaporean or Chinese or East Asian, Southeast Asian, it's just, or Pacific Islander, it's just one monolithic, Asian and the nuances and differences between those cultures. And that's not even taking into account those of us who are American, Asian American, who went to high school here and were obsessed with 90s boy bands who were made of white people. Like, you know what I mean? So it's that lack of perspective, or a perspective being written or produced by people who are not from our community or our lived experience. That is it's really problematic. I thank goodness, I think it's changing a lot. Not
Nikki,
just
I was just gonna say, don't you think it's changed a lot in the last few years, where a lot of things like Parasite and Squid Game and
Crazy Rich Asians and
yes, exactly.
And now everything everywhere all at once. Yes. But see, this is the thing, right? At the time that we were making this, I think it was just like Crazy Rich Asians really helped change a lot. I think that was the first all Asian cast and production team, or mostly at least, since Joy Luck Club, which was 20 years prior? Like, it was too long, and thankfully, and like with Fresh Off the Boat, like little bits, but see, that's also what I'm speaking to. Like, I am not okay with just little bits here and there from one or two amazing artists who broke through. I want, if we're 20, 30% of the population, like, I want that represented in the media. And I live in Los Angeles. We're mostly, Latin and Asian in this metro area. I want to see that in all of these shows and stories that take place in Los Angeles. Amen. You know what I mean? Just honest. I don't need to be the star. I don't need to be competing with anybody. I just wanted to be honest. Right?
I mean, you got a lot of, our stories, especially from our heritage, like, things like Mulan, represented by white people or portrayed by white people in the past. And I think
Memoirs of a Geisha now, even, right?
Yes, exactly. They can't even cast an Asian to play Asian roles, which is crazy. So I think that's changing, and and thanks for what you guys are doing. But yeah, I want to hear from Eyz'd and Anna. I know Nikki said a lot of great stuff there, but maybe you can add some more to that.
Could I offer just some segue points for my colleagues because I mentioned the intersectional part, which is part of our thing. In addition to us all being Asian, I'm trans, Anna's a woman, Eyz'd's gay. I think that on top of all the lack of representation and or the problematic stereotypes and one-dimensional monolithic representations of Asian folks or immigrant folks, there's also all of the other things that we represent. So if either of you want to chime in on those as well, I think those are good things to talk about.
Well, I don't know what Nikki's talking about. I am not gay. You know? I'm kidding. Yeah, I can't even drive straight. Okay, no, I'm terrible. No, talk about Asian stereotypes. Okay, anyway, I'm a decent driver actually. Anyway, yeah, no, yes, and I started in theater and like literally done I'm not kidding. I did 9 productions of Miss Saigon. I went to China one time to do Miss Saigon. That means the people from China had to fly to the United States to find a Korean to fly to China to play a Vietnamese person. So, I mean, really, like I played all Asian, dancing chopstick, all that. I've like literally played a dancing chopstick, So, but that's stand-up comedy is really unique in that, when we are in a performing arts field, we are sometimes governed by what the powers that be might want to put us in. But in a special like this, we get to express who we are as uniqueness. And I feel like stand-up comedy and storytelling is a platform where you're actually much unlike a lot of the other fields, which is dictated by whoever writes whatever. In storytelling and stand-up comedy, we are celebrated for our uniqueness, whereas in other places, we're kind of almost encouraged to shave ourselves down to fit into something. So I really love what we have to offer. I feel like we're so different and so really individual perspectives. And even beyond being Asian American or immigrant, like just as individuals, we're so special, and so it's really great to be able to express that in a way where we can be celebrated, not have to contort ourselves into a dancing chopstick costume.
Right? Wonderfully said, Aiden. I love it. Anna, any thoughts?
Yeah, so yes, and to all of the above. I do think that the landscape is changing in Hollywood for sure. I mean, I read for Cleaning Lady, I read for Joe Poy's Joseph, along with every Filipino in Hollywood. So those are the first 2 times I ever read a pilot where the protagonist is Filipino American. And I'm like, at a network level, right? So we're not just like the side character. We're not the side piece. We're not the nurse. We're not the whatever. We are just who we are. And we are the main storyline. So it is exciting to see that. However, I do think it's slow. I think it's slow moving. And I think the thing that is so special about what Aiden, Nikki, and I did is that, we didn't wait for the guy at the top who has the control at the network level to give us the green light to make something. You know what I mean? Because I think even now, I mean, we're still chipping away. There's the Shonda Rhimes, there's Mindy Kaling, there are these women of color, there's these people of color, Joe Coy, who's creating this content for us, but it's still very small. And so I think what I'm so proud of us, the thing that makes me so proud is that we took this into our own hands and said, we're not going to wait for that person. We're not going to wait for that green light or that glass ceiling to break. We're going to do it ourselves. And I'm excited to see where it goes.
Anna, was this self-funded? Did you guys do this? Wow, that's wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm going to do a really nice write-up for you guys because I really want to support indie productions like this, and especially when it comes from the heart. We as a community want to be heard, and this is a very important avenue to get heard. So I think I got quite a bit of material. You guys are amazing. Can we just go around and have let's start with Aiden this time. Just tell us your social media, where we can find you, what projects you're currently working on outside of this, and also real quick, your favorite moment during the production of this whole Asian American Eyz'd.
Okay, so you can find me at Aiden Park Show on all platforms at AIDANPARK Show. What am I working on right now? You know what? I have a book and a brand that promotes wellness through comedy and storytelling called The Art of Being Yay. So I'm doing a lot of work there. And you may or may not want to include this, but I am doing a show, first ever comedy show for OnlyFans. So we'll see what happens. Well, I was like third choice. They tried to get 2 white guys and couldn't get it. So they were like, we'll go with the Asian guy. So, you know, we're getting in there, but we may not be first choice, whatever.
Are you like naked? Are you like wearing clothes or?
Yeah. It's me and like these girls are.
It's
I
only
mean,
fair.
they did say they wanted cute comedians. So I was like, thank you very much. But, you know, I mean, okay, like I know I'm like, all right. But like, I mean, for only, like, so, you know, for comedians, we're real hot. That's all I'm trying to say.
I love it.
My favorite moment was I remember sitting in the diner in this like strangely small roundabout table in North Hollywood. You know what I'm talking about? You remember that moment?
Yeah.
We just sat there, the 4 of us, we were like in there, we're like, okay, what are we doing? And that was like a special moment. We kind of came up with like everything there. So that was a good moment.
Wonderful. Nikki?
Just writing down the points to talk about.
Sorry, I threw a bunch of questions at you.
No, it's good. It's good. Aiden remembered them all. Okay. So my social media is the same on all platforms. I am at Mix Nikki E. That is MXNICKYE. I use the non-binary honorific mix because I'm a mix of all them genders. And let's see what else were. I just wrapped filming a guest star on Good Trouble for season 4, and I am working on a nonfiction audiobook for Simon & Schuster now this week. And I've got a lot of what's the idiom? The prongs in the fire, the stakes in the fire.
Got a lot.
There's a bunch of stuff percolating. Yeah. So
we're gonna stick with Asian and spears in the. I'm sorry, I had to do it.
Chopsticks in the rice. There are many
chopsticks in the rice.
Chopsticks in the rice.
But not resting, not in the bad luck death way. In the
yes, it is bad luck.
No, yes. Lots of purses not on the floor. Lots of shoes not in the house is what's going on. So I'm feeling grateful.
Awesome, Anna.
Socials, Anna Twazon Parsons, ANATUAZONPARSONS. My website is annaparsons.com, and I'm currently working on, I'm actually rewriting a couple specs. One is getting sent out right now. It's called The Asian That Didn't, about me being a failed Filipino because I didn't become a nurse. It was up for Sundance and Showtime and all this good stuff. So that's getting out there. And then I'm in rewrites of a multicam called All American Taquinos. It's like One Day at a Time meets a Filipino family, kind of similar to what Joko is doing. And I'm rewriting the spec for that. So hopefully we can get it sold and get a Filipino sitcom out there.
That's wonderful. And then where anyone can answer this, where can we catch Asian American Eyes, and where when will we be able to catch it in I don't know, live format?
Anna should take this.
Okay, so it's on it's on Real Women's Network, REEL Women's WOMEN. I can't spell. I call myself a writer. Real Women's Network. I will try and spell it out for you.
And that's REEL. Yes.
REEL Women's Network. And it is actually out now. We just came out, so it's our official release. You can rent it or you can purchase it. So if you purchase it, you can watch as many times as you want. You can rent it or just keep renting it. And I'm not sure. I know we're all kind of rewriting our own material and rewriting and doing our own shows. So, we'll see where the project goes. And, once it gets out there, maybe we'll be doing a national tour. I don't know.
Wonderful. Keep me posted on that, because if you do the tour, I'd love to cover that. And also I encourage everyone, I'm going to post this up on YouTube, but, especially the Asian community, we got strong families and lots of friends, especially the Filipinos. I'm Filipino. So, we have like 20 aunts and uncles that can share this. So make sure to share what Nikki just put up on the screen, the website, and I'll put it on my write up too. You know, Real Women's Network, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and that's where this is exclusively airing on that. So everyone share far and wide, and let's come together. We already have, as an Asian American community, to uplift all these great you know, works of art the last 4 or 5 years, but let's keep the momentum going. And like Nikki said, you know, there's a lot of diversity within our community here that we need to show that, and that we're not just stereotypes and we're not just one dimensional. So thank you, each and every one of you, Anna, Eyz'd, Nikki, for being part of this beautiful mosaic. And watch out for my write-up soon, and we'll stay in touch. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marc.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank
Bye,
Have a
you.
nice day.
Bye.
Cheers.
Take care. Bye-bye.